All right. Burnley. I want to say Ben Burnley, but I'm probably wrong. But it's the Squid, and it's in D2. And it's the Burnley design. CRKT, this belongs to Mitch Bolick.
The last of Mitch Bolick's knife.
This is the last of Mitch Bolick's knives for the time being. And we just want to see where everything is. I'm going to put a big old ugly. Yeah, I'm going to have to put a big old ugly hole down here. What are you doing over there?
I was calculating something in my head.
It looked like you were about to have an aneurysm. Don't be thinking.
Or my eyes, like looking up in my brain, trying to get the stuff out the filing cabinet.
Yeah. What's your guess for fun?
D2.
Never tested a CRKT D2 before.
I'm going to go 58.
All right, I'm going to go 60. We'll see. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
Holy smokes.
62.
It's something we need to talk about, y'all. Is the number being higher doesn't always necessarily reflect a better heat treat. I can go out there right now with a piece of D2, get it up to temperature, bring it in here and test it, and it'll be 68 or 69.
Okay.
Right? So the less we temper it in thermal cycles, the higher the number is going to be. But if we don't if we don't put it through enough of a thermal cycle,
it doesn't bond right.
Yes.
Right?
So the microstructure of the grains
can be crappy,
and the numbers still be high.
Which can also cause chipping and breaking and.
Yeah. So the number being high is not necessarily what you you'd want a properly heat treated knife before you want a big number. If it was, and that's sometimes a properly heat treated knife does result in a big number, but we're mostly talking about high speed tool steels. We're not typically talking about stainless steels and things that are D2 is a tool steel as well, but it's not a Rex 76 or a Rex 121 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, 62, 63 is a good number for D2, just like we saw on the CJRB. But I only bring this up because, Outpost 76 said that he had some Chinese knives that tested incredibly high numbers in D2.
Well.
Yeah, they wouldn't hold an edge for anything, and it may be because
the grain structure is just chipping away.
Yeah, because they weren't properly run through a thermal cycle. May have had a thermal cycle, but it wasn't a good enough thermal cycle. So, for instance, if we had a 15N20, which is a high carbon steel, after the quench, it usually tests about 66, 67.
Right.
And then as much as I would love to be able to keep it at that, we got to throw it in an oven for a thermal cycle. And if I throw it in there for 300 degrees, I can get a 64. But it needs to go through at least one cycle of 400 degrees in order to be able to maintain its toughness.
Gotcha.
But if you're just making a little slicey bastard, and you're not worried about toughness because it doesn't look like it's going to be a knife that anybody's going to pick up and try to stab through a
Eldorado.
Yeah, silly stuff like that. But when people do silly stuff like that,
the baton that's actually useful for firewood and stuff.
Right, but if you were making something like Shane's custom knife here,
yeah, you wouldn't.
This isn't the knife I would pick up for batoning.
No, definitely.
But it's got a hell of an edge on it. It's got a really good heat treat. We're waiting to test this as we speak. At the time of your viewing, we may have already tested this knife, but I'm waiting for word from Shane. But waiting for him to get some more before we start pushing this knife.
Okay.
Or not really pushing it, but advertising that it might be available. But this is a short knife, and I wouldn't necessarily pick it up to baton with.
No.
So I wouldn't.
It's more like food prep.
Yeah. I really wouldn't be as concerned about the thermal cycle being done properly on this knife as I would say this knife.
Right.
Because
you're going to be trying to do more in-depth or harder use stuff like that than you would the the little one.
Yeah, a hard number
It's
doesn't
always been
mean
good.
the best heat treat. All right, so anyway, that's something
Good point.
yeah, we need to discuss more often. You guys have a good one. We'll catch you on the flip side.